Social drinking is highly acceptable in our society today, and for good reason for people that can drink socially. I mean, there's nothing wrong with individuals that can handle their alcohol, and it's different for everyone to be able to have a drink or two drinks or whatever it might be on a Friday evening and relax and have fun and laugh and all those kind of things. Hi, I'm David Essel, addiction recovery coach, all faith minister, speaker, master life coach, and more. Adjunct professor, author. The list could go on forever. We don't need to go there. So in the 20 years of working in the world of addiction recovery, I've often come to this conclusion, is that whenever someone says, I wonder if this drinking is a problem, it is. And as a matter of fact, many people who are social drinkers really have an issue with alcohol. Now, for some of you, you're probably going to say, I don't think I need to watch any more of this video. And that may be because of the fact that you're afraid you might find out something about yourself, that social drinking isn't as innocent as you thought. And I know for many of us, that's what happens. And that's why it's so important to get this message out. I would love for this video to be sent out all over the world. If you can post it on your Facebook, on your Twitter, if you can post it on your own websites, if you have websites, if you could send it to friends, especially, like kids too, 14, 15, 16, all the way up to 80. And I want to share a story. I think stories are great. Let me share a story about a client of mine who contacted me several months ago and said, I've worked with her in the past and she's accomplished some great things with our work together. And she said, David, I want to talk to you about alcohol. And I said, awesome. And she said, I know you have a lot of experience in it. And I said, yes, on both sides of the coin. And I thank God I'm on the coin I'm on right now in recovery and helping other people recover. So she said, well, for the last several years, I've been talking every once in a while to my husband, I'll bring it up, and every once in a while to friends, but not too often, that I don't think alcohol is serving me really well. And I'm just a social drinker. And so I said, great, well, what does that social drinker mean? And she said, well, I have a couple beers on Friday night and Saturday night, maybe Sunday afternoon, but it's usually just Friday and Saturday. So I said, well, has it gotten in the way of anything? And she said, that's why I'm making the call. Like, I want to believe that it hasn't gotten in the way, but when I look back and think that I've been bringing this topic up to myself and to other people over the last 3 or 4 years, I think it is getting into my way. And so then I asked her, give me an example. Not an example of if you ever, drank too much and had huge hangovers. Now, I'm not talking about that, but give me one example of how social drinking may have interfered with your life, which is why you've made this call. And she told me the most amazing story. It was Mother's Day. In the afternoon on Mother's Day, she decided to have a couple beers, and she wasn't going to have anything more than that, and she didn't. She only had 2 beers. And a couple hours later, she was relaxing, and it was hot, and she decided to lay in her bed and just relax. It was Mother's Day, so she deserved her 2 beers, and then she deserved to relax. So as she's laying on her bed, one of her sons came up to her and said, hey, Mom, remember today we're going to do my Facebook account? Mom, it's today. And she said, David, it took everything that was inside of me to go and to start to do this Facebook event that I promised my son I would do on Mother's Day. And she said, I was short with him, I was impatient, and as I look back that night when I went to bed, I was racked with guilt. I felt terrible that I had only had 2 beers, and it was probably an hour after I had the 2 beers that my son came to me. But I started to look back and see I had done this a lot. That even just after a couple beers, my social drinker that I was turning out to be not such a great person. I was impatient. I was short with my kids. I wasn't always that loving with my husband. There were times when I would look to pick arguments, even just after having 1 or 2 beers. And so we talked and we talked and we talked, and she came to the conclusion that she wanted to get sober. Now, some people watching this will go, you've got to be kidding me. She couldn't handle 2 beers. And do you know that most of us, if we're going to really be honest with ourselves, will see a shift takes place. I'm going to do a YouTube on this with the alcohol's effect on our spiritual growth in the future, but let's just say that it interferes more than most of us want to believe. And this mom, who's an amazing woman, by the way, who's an incredibly loving mother and a wonderful loving wife, and someone who can really look at the truth in the face and not back down, on that day on the phone said, David, this is something I need to get rid of. Now, I'm going to guess that probably 3 or 4 months have gone by and she's on her path to sobriety, and every time we talk during our sessions, she has more and more stories to tell about how alcohol did not serve her in the past. So I want you to think about you. When you have a couple drinks, well, first of all, can you stop? And let me give you my definition of an addiction. My definition of an addiction is a return to any thought, any behavior, or any substance over and over again that does not serve us, that is not in our best interest. So it could be a thought, it could be a behavior, or it could be a substance. Today we're going to just stay with this social drinking substance thing. I know a lot of people that when they go out to have a couple drinks, that one of two things happen. Then they may only drink once a month. But the social drinker can turn into a problem drinker because when they choose to go out for a couple drinks a month, it never stops at 2. So they'll go out once a month, but it'll be 4 or 6, and before they know it, they're feeling like crap the next day, or maybe they're tired for the next 2 or 3 days. So that's a problem with social drinking, number one. Number two, anyone that says, I wonder if I have a problem with social drinking, the odds are, like 99% of the time, is that yes, you do have a problem with social drinking. Number three, not everyone metabolizes alcohol the same. So one person might have 2 glasses of wine. It never affects their personality. They don't get short. They don't get impatient. They don't do crazy things. But the person standing next to them, who's the same height, same body weight, it affects them differently. Sometimes it's genetic. Sometimes it's something else as well. I know that when we're talking about my client who recently became sober after the incident with her son, she said, as I look back, I realized too, the other thing I would do is the first drink of the night I would drink fast. And that's a sign of a problem, because when we want to drink fast, then that social drinker, which is okay with just 2 beers, that's not okay. That's not normal to drink fast. The other thing is that a lot of women who are social drinkers who choose champagne choose it because champagne is one of the or beer, anything that has bubbles in it. If you drink it quickly, it's the fastest way to get alcohol to the brain. So think about these things we're sharing with you. And if you think that your beers are getting in the emotional way of your children, your partner, or your work, or fatigue, they probably are. If I can help you in any way whatsoever, contact me at talkdavid.com. Share this video. Post it anywhere and everywhere that you'd like to. Join our subscription at Super Slowdown so that these videos get to you right away the minute we post them. And if I can help you one-on-one with your recovery, I work with people from all over the United States over the phone as well as in person. Contact me at talkdavid.com and you'll see our whole page on the website, Addiction Recovery Now. I'd love to help you. Have a beautiful day. Bye-bye.